illustration of the judge, if you look at it closely, it's not even like fully defined. Like the shin and feet, they're just like a lot of it are just raw brushstrokes. It looks fucking cool.
Yeah, like parts of it are just lost into emotion, more or less.
Yeah, like what is this thing? Like what do you feel when you see this? And that's probably, correct. Like you see those things, I'm sure you don't want to meet a judge.
No, you never want to meet a judge. They're the biggest badasses in the Empire. It's like in the first OP for Part 3 of JoJo, where it's all the characters and the 3D models and they're hopping around, and you get just a few seconds of seeing Dio.
Yeah,
and he's just like wild brushstrokes, and it's like, what the fuck is this thing?
Here's our hero.
Literally killing giant ratties. God, imagine the size of the balls on those rats.
Oh, they would be...
They'd be more ball than rat.
It'd crash the game, all the polygons.
That should have been a loot item in this game, like rat balls. And the description is like big and gross. Why are you holding these?
Put them down, Vaan.
Why are you holding so many of these? Oh, man.
That's enough for today.
No one's gonna buy them. They won't fetch you a high price. You have to pay people to take them from you.
Yeah. I want that to be an item in a game. You go to, it's just super gross, and you go to a vendor, and they charge you $1 dollar or gil, whatever your currency is, to take it from you. But you have limited inventory, so it's like, gotta get rid of it.
And but then there's a deeper thing. If you just flood a market with those rat balls, you can control the market.
Yeah. If you sell enough rat balls, suddenly you create a demand for rat balls, because now this vendor is like, what am I gonna do with these rat balls? And you start hearing NPCs talking about, like, oh man, have you tried the rat ball stew? I'm like, oh my god, I love rat ball stew, and suddenly they're worth like 100 each.
Suddenly this poor peasant's food that sustains all these poor people is now like 12.59 gil a pound.
Yeah, some weird fucking number. Yeah,
something that's a lot.
Ooh, Jesus! Look at this fucking the bad guys always have British accents, but this is the only time they've actually just made them look fucking.
That
like a British, I don't know the various Brits, just fucking bloke.
That guy had only one option in life, and that was to be a soldier, because nothing else was gonna go.
No.
Life.
There's no other job you can get with that face, that temperament, and that accent, right? You can't be this brutish monkey going, "Oi, governor! Would you like a spot of tea?" Like, I'm sorry, Barnabas, but it's not gonna work. Hand in your Starbucks apron. I understand completely. Oh, can't go soldiering now. Governor.
What? Hey, that's mine.
What do you mean, yours? You've been stealing again.
Well, duh, I'm a
What happens
thief.
if they catch you?
It's the only technique I have
We
right
need
now.
you to be there for us, Vaan.
She's got those
You
big
know
boots
that
like
Yeah.
in My Hero Academia.
and it makes her feet look really short.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of a cartoon off the top of my head that does feet like that in particular, but I can't.
You know it as
I
well
can
as
see it in my head.
Me
but I
too.
can't- It's
I
just
can't
that-
think of the exact- yeah.
I like the silhouette it gives,
Yeah.
though. It's really
I
fun.
thought that this money was the people of
But then
Dalmas's
Vaughn's got
property.
like this weird Aladdin vest
The Imperials
going
stole
on,
it from us, so
and
it's only fair that we take it
they
back.
in the PS2 era they often did this with character models, where they would basically the way you would do with if you're painting a real miniature model, you effectively paint on the highlights, so that any light you put on it, it kind of makes sense in a general fashion, because they're not doing real-time lighting.
Just because I help
It's
Miguel out
just,
every
we'll
now
paint
and
on the
then.
shadows, and then we'll have a general light going, and so if a part's higher, it's going to be brighter, if it's deeper, it's going to be darker. They went a little aggressive with that here. Like, look at his nose.
Yeah,
Like, he's got that extreme highlight, like, right on the tip, and then extreme shadow, when it shouldn't be that way.
It's like it reminds me of an illustration technique with essentially before like Wacom tablets were super fucking everywhere. If you were like coloring an illustration, you would draw a selection in Photoshop and then take the gradient tool and kind of like use that as an airbrush, like a radial gradient that fades at the end, and it kind of reminds me of that in a way, like somewhere between that and like attempting to kind of look like a watercolor or paint, you know, like somewhere in there. It doesn't look like skin; it looks more like art.
It certainly looks more like art. They painted in like the space between his muscles, and so they're like his biceps and his shoulders are particularly highlighted, and it looks kind of weird. And it doesn't look that way on most characters. Even Penelo, like there are bits of her that are a little too highlighted, but otherwise she looks fine. But everyone else, well, Bosch has a little bit, but everyone else seems fine. And I wonder, like, did they just not have enough time for Vaan because he was added late?
So
Did they just not want to? Maybe they just didn't care as much because it's Vaan.
So they just took the lasso tool and like crudely chopped out. Here's where the cheek is,
Yeah.
gradient. Here's the tip
Yeah.
of the nose, gradient.
Like, Vaughn's a loser, but I wish they made him even more of a loser just to get back at the executive who made him exist.
I wish during like multiple cutscenes throughout the game, a random person would just walk by and boot Vaan in the nuts while he was talking.
Yeah.
And he's just like, why?
And then you have this extended bit of him recovering on the ground, just like, oh, my balls, my balls.
And then all the adults start talking again about
Yeah.
what's important.
Yeah, exactly. Whenever you have a big cutscene with the whole party, where like Balthier is talking to Ash about their next move, and Bosch is trying to like reason between the two of them. He tries to pipe in, and then a random adult just kicks him in the balls, and they get back to it.
Like a kid or one
Yeah.
of these monsters just walks up.
Or you hear someone off screen yell, "My ball!" and then the ball just flies off screen, and with a doink noise hits him in the nuts.
It's easy work.
Doink!
Don't beg me for it Sunday.
So how is getting around the cities in this game?
It's fine.
Yeah.
For some reason, it always. Well, no, it didn't even complicate me. There was a couple of bits where I'm like, "Is this here or is it there?" But overall, it works fairly well. There are some loading screens that maybe don't need to be there, but maybe they needed to be because it's originated on the PS2 hardware. I don't know.
Look,
But other than that, getting around is fairly easy.
this is
Pretty
why
easy
we
to
do
learn.
it.
I mean,
Especially
the
because
map
you
looks
come,
good.
especially because you come back to Rabanastre over. This is your central hub, basically. You'll come here throughout the entire game, and so you really get to know this area pretty well.
It doesn't take forever to get from point to point.
No, not at all. Yeah,
I don't envy
It's-
him the work though. Not a bit.
it's spacious, but it's not huge. So you can get from point A to point B pretty quickly.
We should be... whatever. Say Tomage, what's this?
Ah, don't remind me. Got some nastiness out there in the Ester Sand. What's stopping our couriers? And that means shortages all around. Thought I'd put up a
So
bill,
again, coming
offer a
off
reward
of
to
Final
anyone who
Fantasy
can knock that
X,
nasty back in its place.
framing, blocking,
Oh gosh, yeah.
animations.
Yeah.
10 times better
This
than
is an
what
interesting
I
shot. Maybe not necessary, but there's some depth of field going on, so it works.
Now, Kites.
This framing makes sense. Nice headroom on everybody.
Right.
And there's a little bit of motion in some of the shots too.
Yeah.
Which is great.
And there's a little bit, but not the way 10 did it, where
Boom, bam,
yeah,
boom.
exactly. There's that bit toward the end where it cuts from Orin talking to Lulu, and it looks like the camera's fucking drunk and focused on their chests.
Well,
I mean, I can understand. Like, both of them got it going on.
I mean, whoever was, animating that scene
Yeah.
probably was a little drunk and probably focusing in on the chest.
Yeah. So our first mission is to go hunt this rogue tomato. It's a tomato, and apparently it's such a pain in the ass that it's disrupting all the supply caravans.
That's sad.
It's pretty sad, especially since the biggest loser in all of Rabanastre is enough to handle it. Within 5 minutes.
Maybe the Rabanastre has a lottery, right?
Yeah.
And the lottery is like, let's make someone's day. And then they pulled out Vaan, and they're
Yeah.
like, who? And then they spent the next 3 weeks figuring out who it was. And then when they finally found out who it was, they're like, this guy's a real huge loser. Maybe we can make him feel a little good about himself.
Yeah.
We'll set up this really lame little enemy and make it seem like he's the hero.
Oh, Vaan, the rogue tomato, it's stopping all the supplies. Everyone's in a bad way. If only a hero would go take care of it. What do you say, Vaan? Are you a hero? I'm a hero. I'm a hero. I'm Vaan. I'm gonna kill a tomato.
Some little kid runs up and punches him in the balls.
Fucking Vaan. Oh, I mean, look at that lady in the back. Like, this game, they were trying to dial back the horniness quotient, but they still sometimes like crank the butt dial up a little
Oh
too much.
gosh, yeah.
And they're like, damn it, we gave this woman like a tight waist and these wide hips. Damn it. Guys, we can't make a game as horny as 10 again. President will have our ass.
So you got a writ of transit or passage, or what
A
was
writ
that?
of passage, because right now we're locked in the city, and so in order to get out of the city, you have to be on official business, and so for this quest, they give you a writ of transit, which allows you to go out and go fight the Rogue Tomato. And this is how the license grid? Yeah, license grid works in this one. And instead of being a big board with everything on it that everyone has access to, you choose a job for each character, and that will have specific licenses on it, tailored to that job, and then later they can learn, specifically in this edition, they can learn a second job which has its own stuff, but any abilities that overlap will be learned on the second job. So you want to pair together complementary jobs. I don't even know what I gave Vaan. I think I gave him 2 things that I knew I wasn't going to care about because I barely use them at all. But for instance, I gave later on you'll see I give Ash Monk and White Mage, which is advantageous because monks, they put out good damage, but they also have healing. And so by then giving her White Mage, she's able to learn White Mage skills, which open up squares on the monk grid in places that would otherwise be a pain in the ass to access. You can see there are some grids that are like floating off in islands over there. You can't access those unless you learn an ability on another grid, which falls into one of those, which will allow you to learn the one next to it, because you have to learn an ability next to an ability before you can learn the other ability. Or, once you start getting summons, they will often connect your grids to those areas. It's kind of a pain in the ass, but if you pair them together well enough, you can't learn every skill in every grid, but if you give characters the right combinations of jobs, they can learn 90-95% of the abilities available to them.
Now, is that what is updated in this Zodiac Age version of this game? Was it different in the
Yes.
original release? Wasn't it just a big chessboard?
Yeah,
of bullshit?
yeah, that's what I was describing. In the original, it was just a great big board. It was divided into 2 halves, where the bottom half was like equipment, and the top half was abilities. And so everyone could learn everything, could use everything. It really... And everything was scattered everywhere. So it'd be like, okay, I got this greatsword. Where's the greatsword license? I don't fucking know. And this one's like, well, only knights or whatever can use greatswords, and so if I want to use a greatsword, I have to have a knight. In the... They originally changed it in the... I think it was the international release, which only ever released in Japan, but you could play it in English if you had a Japanese PS2. Because I think this game is entirely in English, even in the Japanese version. But in that one, you could only have 1 job, and so you were really funneled into a very specific niche. There are 12 total. You have 6 characters, so you only... In that one, you had access to 6 of the jobs. In this one, each character... Like I said, each character can learn a second job. That's just a T-Rex. Each character can learn a second job, so between your 6 characters, it's possible to have each of them represent each job. So you always have access to every ability, just not with any single character.
Oh man, this little cacti.
I know,
isn't
these are the
doing
best
anything.
cactars. I love these cactars. Look at these fucking goofballs.
Like, it's not bothering anyone. He's just like, I'm gonna murder you.
I'm gonna murder you good, oh.
There's that tomat.
Yeah. Attack the rogue tomato.
Oh man, but it's gonna attack back.
Oh me, oh my, this tomato bites back!
That's a spicy tomato sauce. I wish they made a pizza afterwards.
Yeah, I wish you killed this thing, and it kind of looks like a fucking... Who's the director with the hair and the pajamas?
A director? With hair and pajamas?
Maybe not pajamas, but he makes those movies with the guy in the costumes. Tim Burton.
I was gonna say.
Yeah. It looks like a fucking Tim Burton character, the
Yeah.
rogue tomato, with those
Yeah.
pajamas that it's wearing.
The stripes.
The
and
stripes, yeah. Like, I like just smash cut to Tim Burton just saying, I like stripes. I don't know what you want from me.
What is my thing? It's the spooky, pale people with stripes. Come on. Stitches?
Like,
And patches.
I imagine Tim Burton was that guy in film school, but then he went on to find success, and so all his other film school people made fun of him, like, God damn it!
Yeah.
I made fun of that guy drawing his spooky, dark people, well, pale-skinned people with their stripes and their patches.
Now he's hanging out with Danny Elfman all the time.
Just Danny Elfman making spooky, weird music all day. And Tim Burton just drawing people wearing striped pajamas. And he's like, yes. Yes. I'm married to Helena Bonham Carter, I think.
This'll make a nice souvenir. Time to call it a day.
You spent 5 minutes working, and you're calling it a day. Yeah. Yeah, time for some R&R, am I right? I might take a whole week off after that one.
Just sit around.
Yeah.
Just sit in my own sweat all day.
Fuck, I hate the desert.
Just sit in my sweat and eat an apple that I stole.
Look at these butts everywhere.
There's a butt. There's a
There's a
butt
butt.
too.
So many lizard butts, I don't care. No, these people are just like, come on, let's back in the city. Oh, I'm a fat pig person.
Oh, my lasagna's burning in there.
Oh, why'd I go out on an errand with a lasagna in the oven? Oh, I'm dumb. I wish they were saying peas and carrots.
Now what?
I like that the pig people have dumb faces painted on their chests.
Open the gate!
Yeah, open the gate.
Wait a second. How can you
Didn't
let these
sound like
chumps
that at all.
open the gate and not us?
You really just were insensitive with this voice acting.
Yeah.
Cost tens of thousands of gil, this one did. A prettier price than 100 of you provincials would fetch. Keep your distance. We don't want the chocobo sticking a peasant.
What'd you say?
Step aside. Right then, move
Said
in.
you smell real bad, governor.
Oh no, my pretty flowers.
That does it.
I was gonna get laid later.
Fine chocobo you have there. Yes, cedar down stock if I'm not mistaken. Change the
Aw, that's
soil,
our buddy
change the
Phil.
chocobo, am I right? Yes.
No,
yes,
wait, that's not the
different
voice
style
of
means
fucking
different
Phil
bouquet.
from
Take a
Disney.
down
No,
basket
that's
for
John DiMaggio again.
They lack the flavor
Oh
of
shit!
Yeah, he plays multiple roles in this game.
but he has a certain strength of character. It's not bad, really.
I mean, I know he just gets a lot of work,
Yeah.
but I wonder what it was that, you know, if his work in 10 just made the Final Fantasy folks be like, yeah, let's keep this guy around.
He was.
Cart through and closest gate is ordered.
It was probably A, let's keep this guy around, and B, just he's far and away the most popular voice actor from 10.
Oh yeah, that's
Like, not even due to the strength of Waka, obviously. Like, he's just.
That ended where it did.
Everyone knows
Right.
John
You have a
DiMaggio at
chance
this
to go
point.
through.
Literally, he wasn't even Jake yet.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just on the strength of being Bender and all the other characters. He was Stimpy, wasn't he?
No,
No,
that was
Who-
Billy West.
That's right, Billy West. I get them confused
Was he?
sometimes.
Was he Mark? When did fucking let's see, Xbox 360?
Oh yeah, he was Marcus
like,
Phoenix.
yeah.
That was 2006.
Yeah,
So that came
that's
out just before this, but he was probably recording lines for this at the same time.
Yeah.
Look at these beautiful, hideous, fuckable people. My people now. Every one of you. I would throw up at the sight of you while having sex with you. I love you and hate you in equal regard.
And then Van runs into a ball sack high
Yeah.
post. Just
Yeah, with one of those big, like,
Yeah.
brass spheres on top.
Dong.
Yeah.
This game would be over the top good if they treated Van like that and just had him running his balls in
Oh
the veins all
god,
the
just
time.
God. What I should probably do is after we're done with this one, one of the projects that I want for myself in 2018 is I really want to start jotting down ideas for the RPG in my head. Like, just taken in that direction where the protagonist is a fucking loser. It was just constantly getting his balls racked on stuff.
People of Rabanasta, is it with hatred you look upon your consuls?
Yes,
With hatred you
suck.
look upon the Empire?
sure do.
Why don't you come down here and say that?
There was little point in asking. But Know this. I harbor no idle hopes of frustrating that hatred.
You're all stupid and I don't respect your intelligence. But I bet I can win you over with one brief speech.
Fallen king, and rightly so. King Ramana
Just flash
loved
those
his
clavicles, man.
Yeah.
strove to bring you peace. His was a rule worthy of your devotion. Even now, he remains among you, protecting you. His ardor for the peace and weal
Yeah,
of
I think they were
Dalmasca
definitely like,
falters not.
look how many
I would
Look
ask
how many
only that you
people.
do
I mean, I know
your
this isn't
honor.
in-game, but
Yeah.
still, like, and that's, you know, things got really intense when games were like, look how many in-game people we could render.
Oh,
But-
yeah.
But even just in the cinematic, it's like, look at all these look how real this crowd can look. They're not just standing there.
They're not saying they're in effectively T-pose.
Yeah, or like there's 3 total animations shared amongst 50 people.
Yeah. So you see the same people wiping their brow over and over.
I will stand fast. I will endure your hatred, suffer your slings and arrows. I will defend Dalmasca.
The audio got weird there for some reason, and
Here
that was
I will
totally
pay my
in-game.
debt. I swear it now.
Like, he got super quiet, then it cut to him, and it got
Yeah.
loud, but because of the way
Begone.
this
They
moment
stand
is
ever at the side of their people.
displayed, it ought to be the same audio for him the whole
Yeah,
time through.
it shouldn't be.
It shouldn't. I think diegetic is when the audio is in universe. So if you were
Yeah.
away from something, then it would sound distant.
Yeah, that definitely didn't make sense for this, but hey,
They do their thing.
yeah.
And frankly, everything's a fucking not a quantum leap. A quantum leap means something very, very, very small. It's a significant leap from 10 in every other regard. Even the vocabulary of this game, like 10, you know, it's not bad, but they did say stuff like "you know" a lot.
Yeah,
They had all these weird fillers, but this one they're saying shit like "ardor" and "wheel," W-E-A-L.
yeah.
Where I'm like, ooh, that's wheel? That's one I haven't heard in a while.
A stunning example of Galtean architecture.
You know?
Oh man, wow. One thing that I just really love is in the older Final Fantasies, whenever there was like a really fantastic looking structure,
Oh,
and
yeah.
it was usually 2D because just the way they wanted to get it across was just, it was too crazy for what they could do. And then now they can render this shit, but it still looks like just as fantastic. Like it's not.
Well, it's like, well, it's basically like if you gave an architect, you know, if you said, hey, design something, don't worry about how it actually stands up.
Yeah.
Like, go purely aesthetic with it. Make literally an impossible building, but make it grand. And they go, fucking, alright.
It seems like most of the time when you go, or at a certain age in video games, when they were, if you were to go from a 2D like painting to something 3D, the 3D would just look stupid. It's just really rigid and simple because of the limitations.
Well, yeah, like especially this is a PS2 game, but immediately preceding this, like the PS1 era, where everything did need to be just a vertical surface, and you can see where the two flat surfaces join with one another, and they're kind of fucked up because they didn't quite put them like directly on top or something.
But yeah, like just the buildings here, it's still just like, wow, yeah, it looks Final Fantasy. They're not losing anything by having it be 3D model.
By having it be a 3D model, by putting us in the perspective we're in, they're not losing anything at all. This feels, again, it's that nebulous sense of this feels like Final Fantasy. You know, what is it? What is it about this that feels like Final Fantasy? Like, why does this and 10 and 7 and 5 and 1 feel like Final Fantasy, but then 13 does not?
This place has changed so much. It's like it's not even Rabanastre anymore. Like the Empire is swallowing it whole.
I wish he was distracted, but you could hear her quietly talking about how the idea of being swallowed whole sometimes turns her on, and she doesn't know how to handle it.
Sometimes I have dreams where I'm just being swallowed whole by my lover. I don't know who they are, but I know they're my lover in my dreams.
And I know I'm swallowing them simultaneously, and then somehow we end up kissing in the end.
Why the sudden
It's super hot.
I told you, I'm going to take back what's ours.
He did that petulant little foot stomp.
Come on.
I told you.
If I find something, and it fetches a good price, How about I buy you all dinner?
Oh, please. You know as well as I do the first thing you'd buy is an airship.
She have these like little wings.
She has these
kinda?
weird little wings on her back. That's the one thing where I'm like, I kind of know what it's about. I think it's to give her, well, A, just to break up her silhouette a little bit from different
Yeah.
angles, and B, maybe to give her a sense of
I don't know.
flight.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Not through Miguel.
Yeah.
Like, they want to make her feel light and airy
Or
somewhat.
an angelic.
It
maybe,
isn't, yeah, like his
cherubish.
basically his good conscience.
Yeah.
So like, okay, we'll give her like these little angelic wing like things, whatever.